Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ Bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshtanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Śrī Caitanya-Mahāprabhu Matamidam Tatradharana Para Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you so much, dear worshipful devotees, for joining to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the crest jewel of all the Vedic literatures. And we are reading Canto 10, which is like the lotus face of the Supreme Lord. And in that, we are reading chapter 29 today. We're going to start chapter 29, which is entitled Kṛṣṇa and the Gopis Meet for the Rasa Dance or Rasa Dance. So there's a short summary. First we'll read that, and then we will read the verses as well. This chapter describes how Lord Kṛṣṇa, intending to enjoy the rasa dance, engaged in arguments and counter-arguments with the gopis. Then there is description of the beginning of the rasa dance and the Lord's pastime of disappearing from the midst of the gopis. Remembering the promise he had made to the gopis when he had stolen their clothes, Lord Kṛṣṇa employed his Yogamaya potency and manifested within himself the desire to enjoy pastimes during the autumn night. Thus, he began to play his flute. When the gopis heard the flute's sound, the impulses of Cupid were violently aroused within them, and they immediately abandoned all their household duties and hastily went to Kṛṣṇa. All the gopis had purely spiritual bodies, but when some of the gopis' husbands and other family members stopped the young girls from going, Lord Kṛṣṇa arranged for them to temporarily exhibit material bodies, which they then left at the sides of their husbands. In this way, they deceived their relatives and went off to meet Kṛṣṇa. When the gopis came before Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa, he asked, "Why have you come? It is not good for you to travel to such a place in the dead of the night. For this forest is full of violent creatures. Your husbands and children will soon come searching after you to bring you home and engage you again in your household duties. After all the prime religious duty of a woman is to serve her husband and children. For a respectable woman to consort with the paramour is totally contemptible and sure to obstruct her progress to heaven. Moreover, one develops pure love for me not by physical proximity, but by hearing topics connected with me, by viewing my deity form in the temple, by meditating upon me and faithfully chanting my glories. So nice. I'll read this again. One develops pure love for me not by physical proximity, but by hearing topics connected with me, Krishna Katha, by viewing my deity in the form of temple, taking darshan of the Lord, meditating upon me, thinking about the Lord, dhyan, and faithfully chanting my glories, holy name. Therefore, all of you would do best to return home. The gopis were crestfallen to hear this, and after crying a little while, they replied with a bit of anger, "It is very unfair of you for you to reject young girls who have abandoned everything in their lives and come to you with the exclusive desire to serve you. By serving our husbands and children, we receive only pain. Whereas by serving you, the dearmost soul of all living beings, we will perfectly fulfill the true religious duty of the self." Atma. True religious duty of the self is to serve Krishna or be with Krishna. What woman will not deviate her prescribed duties as soon as she hears your flute song and sees your form, which enchants the three worlds, just as the Supreme Lord Vishnu protects the demigods? You destroy the unhappiness of the people of Vrindavan. You destroy the unhappiness of the people of Vrindavan. In short, you give them happiness. Therefore, you should immediately relieve the torment we have felt because of separation from you. Wanting to please the gopis, Lord Krishna, who is always satisfied in himself. Very important. Wanting to please gopis. And Krishna is self-satisfied. Responded to their appeals by playing with them in various pastimes. But when this show of attention made them a little proud, he humbled them by suddenly disappearing from the arena of rasa dance. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Baldev Prabhu, Subala Prabhu, Shrama Mataji, Devki Mataji, Vaswati Mataji, and Lakshay Prabhu for joining. The following few chapters are going to be on this theme, Krishna's pastimes with his dearmost gopis, and this is a section which is often highly misunderstood, right? So, but through the medium of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, through Srila Prabhupada, his disciples, medium, we'll try to understand it in the right way, as Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is trying to convey, not as what people portray, because, common people want to, tarunastavat tarunisakta. The whole material world is running after opposite sex. That's the harsh reality. It is the most searched word on internet. This is where everyone is going. That's very unfortunate. And they portray that picture on Krishna too, right? So, but we are reading the 10th canto of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this is not some mundane Lila of some boy and girl, a boy running after a girl or the girls running after a boy. We are setting the scene so that we can properly understand these pastimes. That Krishna is self-satisfied. He does not need anyone. And whatever he does is divya, janma karma chame divyam. If we read or hear these Lila with lusty propensities or lusty vision, then our lust will increase. But if we try to hear with purified vision, understanding these are not ordinary boy-girl talks or boy-girl, this is pure, divine, transcendental love which exists in the spiritual world also. Then our lust will go down. So with that as the background, let's hear with the right consciousness, with the right words, with the right intention and attention, so that we don't take it cheaply, and we also learn what Prabhupada and his disciples are trying to communicate or trying to share with us, so that we can first understand ourselves the right way and also try to spread the right way. Because often, this is a very, very often asked question: why is Krishna dancing with gopis, right? Why is, oh, if he can do so, why I can't do so, right? So, but before that, he said, just before Rasa Lila, he lifted Govardhan Hill. First you do that, then we'll talk about Rasa Lila, right? For 7 days, 7 nights, at the age of 7 years. And by the time he was 7, he had already killed like 700 demons maybe, or more. So first you do that, kill Putana, kill Bakasur, Agasur, Pranamrata, etc., lift the Govardhan Hill. Then we can talk about Rasa Lila. Then they have no comment. So let's pray to Sri Radha Damodar, so that we can enter into this chapter and absorb with the right consciousness, with the right intent and attention. Namami Damo Namami Damo Darpada Pankajam Karomi Damo Darpujanam Sada Vadami Damo Daranama Nirmalam Smarami Damo Darlila Sundaram Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namam. Hare Krishna. So let's begin with first verse of chapter 29, Canto 10. If someone would like to read that, please.
Again, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna devotees, Namo Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text 1. Sri Badranaye Uvacho Bhagavan Opita Ratrai Shardo Hullo Mollika Bhiksho Rantum Manoschakre Jogomayam Upa Srita. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki joy. Translation. Sri Badraran said, Sri Krishna is a supreme person of Godhead, full in all opulences, yet upon seeing those autumn nights scented with blossoming jasmine flowers, he turned his mind toward loving affairs. To fulfill his purpose, he employed his internal potency. Purport. As we begin the famous narration of Lord Krishna's Rasa dance, a dance of love with beautiful young girls, questions will inevitably arise in the minds of the ordinary people regarding the propriety of God's romantic dancing with many young girls in the middle of a full moon autumn night. In his description of the Lord's Rasa dance in Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personal Godhead, Srila Prabhupada painstakingly explains the spiritual purity of these transcendental activities. Those advanced in the science of Kṛṣṇa, the great teachers or acharyas, leave no doubt that Lord Krishna is full and satisfied in himself, free of all material desire, which is, after all, a sense of incompleteness or lack. Materialistic persons and impersonal philosophers stubbornly reject the bona fide explanation of Sri Krishna's transcendental nature. There is no reason to deny the beautiful reality of an absolute person able to perform absolute romantic activities, of which our so-called romance is merely a shadow or perverted reflections. The irrational insistence that material activities cannot be a reflection of the perfect spiritual activities performed by God reflects the unimaginative emotional disposition of those who oppose the reality of Sri Krishna. The psychological disposition of the non-devotees who leads them to fervently deny the very existence of the absolute person unfortunately boils down to what may be succinctly described as envy, since the overwhelming majority of the impersonal critics eagerly pursue their own romantic affairs, which they consider quite real and even spiritual. The actual supreme lover is Lord Krishna. The Vedanta Sutra begins by declaring that the absolute truth is the source of everything. And even Western philosophy was born in a somewhat awkward attempt at finding the original one behind the apparent meaning of material existence. Conjugal love, one of the most intense and demanding aspects of human existence, can hardly have nothing at all to do with supreme reality. Prabhuji, should I continue or somebody wants to share?
Yeah, maybe it's a long purport. Someone else can, or maybe you can summarize. Yep. Yeah, that's fine.
So Rasa dance actually most famous in Krishna's pastimes, mostly to the non-devotees, as you said in the beginning, and Prabhupada also mentioned. And so Krishna is a supreme personal Godhead, and he is self-sufficient, and he doesn't need external what is called she's self-satisfied. So, but to interact with the devotees, he does some past times, but this is not clearly understandable by the materialistic person and impersonal philosophers, and they take Krishna as the human platform and try to compare. And their knowledge with this material knowledge only, which is perfect reflection of the spiritual aspect. So when they place the Lord in this material aspect, they definitely lost the rationality, but which is unfortunate. And it is said in 9-11 verses in Gita that Abhajanti mam mora manusam tane asritam mama ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So when Krishna comes with a material body, so it is hard for the non-devotees to understand him, and there Krishna called them Mura. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We can complete the purport if any other Vaishnava wants to read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
In fact, the conjugal love experienced by human beings is a mere reflection of spiritual reality, in which the same love exists in an absolute pristine state. Thus, it is clearly stated here that when Krishna decided to enjoy the romantic atmosphere of autumn, he resorted to his spiritual potency, Yogamaya Upashrita. The spiritual nature of Lord Krishna's conjugal affair is a major theme in this section of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. A woman is attractive because of the sweet sound of her voice, her beauty and gentleness, her enchanting fragrance and tenderness, and also because of her cleverness and skill in music and dance. The most attractive ladies of all are the young Gopis of Vrindavana, who are Lord Krishna's internal potency. And this chapter tells how he enjoyed their brilliant feminine qualities. Even though Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur has mentioned, Lord Krishna was an 8-year-old boy when these events took place. Ordinary people prefer God simply to be a witness of their romantic affairs. When a boy desires a girl or a girl desires a boy, sometimes they pray to God for their enjoyment. Such people are shocked and dismayed to find out that the Lord can enjoy his own loving affairs with his own transcendental senses. In truth, Śrī Krishna is the original Cupid, and his exciting conjugal pastimes will be described in this section of Bhagavatam. When Lord Krishna descends on the earth, his spiritual body seems to take birth and grow as he displays his variegated pastimes. The Lord could hardly allow his bodyhood to pass without exhibiting the supreme loving affairs between young boys and young girls. Thus, Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur quotes Srila Rupa Goswami as follows: Kaishoram Safali Karoti Kalayan Kunje Viharam Hari. Lord Hari perfects his youth by arranging loving pastimes in groves of Vrindavana forest. Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. A very wonderful description here by our Jagat Guru Śrī Prabhupada and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So we can see that how the Lord reciprocates, conjugal love. Of course, everything is spiritual, but Krishna decided to do this pastime to give, because he gave the promise to the Gopis. And also, as we know that, all these Gopis were, during the Lord Ramchandra pastimes were all rishis. They wanted to have this, pastime with the Lord. So mercifully, Lord actually, agreed for, that. So, but as you mentioned, in the mundane world, people, misinterpret. And also, of course, Krishna is cause of all causes. He is the Sarva Karana Karana. So Krishna cannot have, these kind of, intimate pastimes with any normal, mundane people. So he is doing it with his own internal potency. And of course, Radharani is the most, serving. Of course, Radharani is none other than Lord Krishna himself. So Lord Krishna descends to this earth, to give, these kind of pastimes. He can, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushritam. So basically, he can destroy everybody just with a famine or earthquake or anything like that. But he wants to have these kind of loving pastimes with his, with his devotees. So that's why he takes birth. Of course, he doesn't take birth like any of us, and because when he was born, he was with the four-handed form, and of course he born birth from the heart of the Maharaj, of course. So, but he takes this role and shows how innocent he is. He's stealing pastimes, taking stealing with, and eating from the mouth of Gopas and Gopis and all these Lilas only for the pleasure of his devotees. That's my understanding. Prabhuji. Please correct Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's a very beautiful verse, and Prabhupada, as I know that he gave the Kṛṣna book before, because he was not sure that he'll be able to complete the Bhagavatam. So these purports are by his disciples, but he gave the Kṛṣna book, so you can read a few sections or few lines from that book as well. So Shukdev Goswami speaks Bhagavan Apita Ratri. Which Ratri? Sharada. Sharada Utfula Malika. The blossoming night of Sharad. So basically, what is the scene? The Sharad Purnima. And that comes technically in our Gaudiya Vaishnava system, the Kartik month begins from that. That's Sharad Purnima. What was the chapter prior to it? Nanda Maharaj rescued. And before that, Govardhan Lila. So Govardhan Lila just happened after Dipavali, or the day after Dipavali, correct? Which was the day of Amavasya, and then Govardhan Lila happened. So Kṛṣna was 7 years at that time. Now that Sharad Purnima has already passed just 15 days or 13 days prior. 15 days to be more precise. And now the next Sharad Purnima will come next year. That means Kṛṣna was around 8 years, as per Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, and Prabhupada also mentioned that in the Kṛṣna book. So at this point, Kṛṣna is 8 years. The day is Sharad Purnima. Bhagavan Api Ta Ratri. That night, Bhagavan Api, the Supreme Lord, who is full of all the opulences. He is full of all the opulences. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yasha, Shriya, Jnana, Vairagyascha, Shannam, Bhagavati-gana. Unlimited wealth, beauty, knowledge, fame, everything. But the Supreme Lord also wants to reciprocate. He's more eager to reciprocate with his devotees. If a devotee calls and the devotee wants, and the devotees were always wanting, they were doing Katyayani-vrata all the time to want Kṛṣna as, to desire Kṛṣna as their husband. So Kṛṣna has to reciprocate. Kṛṣna reciprocates with the love of his devotees. Yogamaya upashritaha. Now this was orchestrated by Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. The dances of ordinary boy and girl are a sheer play of Mahamaya or Cupid, illusion, lust, right? It's not love, sorry. It's purely based on lust. It's like iron and gold. Iron is also metal, but gold is also metal, but there is a huge difference. So Kṛṣna is also dancing with girls or gopis, and some ordinary boy may be dancing with ordinary girls. Dance, okay. But there is big difference. What is the difference? Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Atmindriya priti vanchat hare bole kam, Krishnera priti ichha dhare premanam. One is pure lust, one is pure love. When the act is done for one's own in selfish endeavor, that is called lust. But when it is done, let's read this. I'm going to share a little bit from Krishna book, this chapter. Maybe someone can read this from here till the end of the paragraph. Anyone? Vasati Mataji, want to read? Or anyone is in a position to read?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
The author of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, has explained that last means sense gratification and love also means sense gratification, but for Krishna. In other words, when activities are enacted on the platform of personal sense gratification, they are called material activities. But when they are enacted for the satisfaction of Krishna, then they are spiritual activities. On any platform of activities, the principle of sense gratification is there. But on the spiritual platform, sense gratification is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa. Whereas on the material platform, it is for the performer. For example, on the material platform, when a servant serves a master, he is trying to satisfy not the senses of his master, but rather his own senses. The servant would not serve the master if the payment stopped. That means that the servant engages himself in the service of the master just to satisfy his own senses. On the spiritual platform, however, the servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead serves Krishna without payment, and he continues his service in all conditions. That is the difference between Krishna consciousness and material consciousness. Back to you, Krishna.
Very well. Thank you, Mataji. So beautiful. Sorry.
Prabhuji,
Yeah,
just
please.
tell one
Yes.
verse from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, it says, Atmendriyo priti ichcha, tare boli kam, Krishnendriyo priti bancha, dhare premonam. So this is the famous verse from Caitanya-caritāmṛta also. I explained the same thing in this part. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. That's the same verse Prabhupada is sharing here, the English of that. The example here given is, are we desiring to please Krishna, or am I desiring to please my own senses? Am I desiring to please senses of Krishna? Is that my main focus? Or am I desiring to please my own senses or my extended senses, my family, or my children, my wife, my this, my that? That's also extended lust. Oh, I don't need anything for me, but I need everything for my family, right? That's also, but is the focus me or is the focus Krishna? So this is the difference Prabhupada is saying between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. Material world, most of us are working. Why do we work? Because we love our company? No, because they pay us income so we can pay the bills. That's the main motivation. Love, I say, oh, this company is very dear to me. No. The moment they stop paying, no, that's not dear. Someone else will become dear, right? So that means, but in spiritual life, what is the reward is seva. The reward is seva itself. That's a big reward. Krishna, I want your devotional service. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. This is Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is saying. So Krishna was around 8 years, right? And any thoughts, comments so far in this verse? So we discussed quite a few things here. Krishna's about the age, the circumstances, the yoga maya, The Krishna is all complete. Atma, what's that word used? That he's self-satisfied. Atmaram, self-satisfied. He does not need anything or anyone. Everyone needs him. But he is the source, the cause, the creator, the originator of everything. But he engages Yogamaya to do the Lila, like the Kartik Damodar Lila also. He is hungry for mother's milk. He is hungry for mother's chastisement. He is hungry to play with his cowherd friends and feed the monkeys. Right, so many, and then he orchestrates all those through the Yogamaya potency. So these chapters are more connected to the Madhurya Rasa or conjugal love. There are other chapters like Govardhan and Damodar Lila, which are more connected to Vatsalya and Sakhya Rasas. So in the Bhagavatam, we see all the flavors, all the rasas, all the mellows are seen. And of course, we should see with the right vision also, because we are talking about, we should not forget whom are we talking about. We're talking about the supreme absolute truth. Lord Brahma gets bewildered sometimes. Lord Indra gets bewildered. Lord Varuna got bewildered, we just read. They are all showing that, so that we don't take it cheaply or ordinarily. Any other thoughts, comments in this particular? This is like the foundation for the upcoming verses and chapters.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhu. Can I add? Hare Krishna, everybody. Prabhuji, I like that the way you have set the scene, preparing oneself as to be mature to understand these chapters. Because the senior devotees, they have shown us that it has to be a systematic study, that we cannot just go to any canto, any chapter and read to know about Kṛṣna. It has to be systematically, chapter by chapter, and we cannot read the 10th canto beforehand. So you have done it so in a very nice way, Prabhuji, as recommended by senior devotees, which I appreciate. And the scene that you are setting just here is so nice, Prabhu, that everyone can understand that it is not material romance or material intimate relationship with girls and boys. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I like it. Sorry, Prabhu, I didn't know that you have changed the time. So every day I'm switching on for 4, 4:15, 4:30. I couldn't get you. So today I got it at 5 now. It is. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to properly communicate. This
Thank you.
is a weird thing in US called daylight saving. So it changes the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, it happens somewhere around this November, and then again after a few months, it will go back. So as per US, we didn't change the time. It's 8 p.m. Eastern. But as per the rest of the world, the time will be a little different. So, yeah, sorry for inconvenience.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, so what Mother said is very important. And even though if someone just accidentally picks a book, Prabhupada's book, and open this chapter, you see how beautifully the first purport is so nicely in detail, like it was a quite long purport describing that whom are we talking about, and so many, so that it's not taken cheaply. The material world is like the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. It's a pure, pristine thing. Prabhupada used the word pristine, right? It's a pristine, it's very pure, it's unadulterated, unalloyed, pure, prema parikashta. And in the conjugal love or the in the Madhurya Rasa, the Parakya Rasa is topmost. The Parakya Rasa in the material world is very abominable and very, it's very inappropriate. But here, again, we are not talking about ordinary people. So, Kṛṣṇa, and ultimately, he is the supreme bhokta anyways. Someone says, hey, why is Kṛṣṇa dancing with everyone's other's wife? Right? Good question. The answer is, Kṛṣṇa is the supreme bhokta. He's the husband of everyone. The problem is, why are you dancing with your wife? Actually, what you're thinking as your wife is actually Kṛṣṇa's wife. So you are trying to steal his property. Rather, he trying to steal your property. So that was the response I heard. Because ultimately everything is Kṛṣṇa's property. And the conditioned jiva wants to take his property and enjoy it for selfish purpose. That's lust. Like Ravana. Ravana wants to take Sita away from Rama and try to enjoy separately. But Hanuman wants to unite Sita to Lord Ram to serve them. This is the mood of a devotee. A devotee is happy. Now, Hanuman is a brahmachari, celibate, right? Amongst the topmost brahmacharis is Hanuman, right? We know that. But his mission is to unite. So basically, to unite the jiva back to the Supreme Lord. That's Hanuman, the purpose of a devotee, the mission of a devotee. To take away from the Maya or the Lanka of Ravana, which represents lust, anger, greed, illusion, all these 10-headed Ravana. Any other thoughts, comments?
Prabhuji, may I explain my own personal experience concerning
Yes.
Kṛṣṇa? So when we were young, from childhood, we were going to the temple with my mom, attending temple. But I was never attracted by Kṛṣṇa because Kṛṣṇa was always among the girls. So when my mother was doing the prayers of Shivji first, then Ram, Hanuman, Vishnu, Lakshmi, that time we go to pray for Kṛṣṇa, I said, oh, my mother should pray to Kṛṣṇa also because he is always among girls. I didn't like it at all. You won't believe, Prabhuji. But then when I became younger, I said, but now I have to get married now. I think now I can pray to Kṛṣṇa because I need someone opposite sex just like Kṛṣṇa. Even then I wasn't convinced. I was convinced about Kṛṣṇa only when I joined the Hare Krishna movement, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Bhakti. That was my experience.
Wow. That's why Kṛṣṇa came to your life. You wanted Kṛṣṇa.
I think to clear it in my mind. I think so.
Yes. Absolutely. In any form we want Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa hears our thought, our prayers. Another beautiful point Prabhupada is sharing in the Kṛṣṇa book. There is no possibility of enjoying the transcendental parakya rasa. Transcendental parakya, divya parakya rasa in the material world. Someone thinks, oh no, I'll also enjoy. No, it's not enjoying, it's suffering. Prabhupada writes further, one should not imitate the parakya rasa even in one's imagination or one's dreams. Those who do so drink the most deadly poison. Those who do so are drinking the most deadly poison. And I'm just repeating this from the Kṛṣna book. Yes, right here. So, in short, one should have purity even in dreams. I mean, it's a very high state actually, right? There is purity in every aspect of life. Or like Lord Ram, Ekapatni Vrata, right? Lord Ram is showing us that. Someone say, oh, Krishna does it. Like, hey, why don't you follow the footsteps of Lord Ram? Krishna does it. Lord Ram didn't dance with the girls. He showed that to protect one wife, he was willing to take all the challenges and struggles and fight with Ravana. So, Krishna ki kathani, Shri Krishna ki kathani, Shri Ram ki karani. You should follow in the footsteps of Lord Ram and follow the words of Lord Krishna. Kathan. That means Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So there is brahmacharya or celibacy in every aspect of life. One is in the gross way, right, which we all know about. But there are subtle aspects also. Celibacy in food, celibacy in vision, right? What kind of things we watch also will affect one's purity, right? Purity in the vision. What we are watching, what kind of books we are reading, what kind of TV we are watching, what kind of phone things we are seeing in the phone. The phone has everything these days, right? And it can be easily misutilized. So that will lead to purity, right? Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pujayate. Whatever we expose our senses to, and whatever we expose throughout the day, that will come in the dreams also. Whatever thoughts we are contemplating, it will come in the dreams also. The food, the kind of food, if we eat a lot of passionate food and a lot of junk food and a lot of stale food, it will affect other aspects of body. It will affect mind, it will affect our desires, it will affect our lust, anger. Everything is interrelated. What kind of words are we watching, or words are we speaking? What kind of words are we hearing? These are all doors, right? Eyes, nose, mouth, ears. In computer, they say GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out. If we let good things in through these doors, naturally, they'll process good output. If we let garbage or impure, materialistic thoughts, visions, sounds, food, etc., then it will have an impact on our desires, on our... The biggest thing, association. As Bhagavatam says, more than the association, more challenging or more harmful than the association of a woman is the association of a womanizer. Like, more harmful than the association of a woman is the womanizer, because he's going to always talking about women. Hey, what happened in college? Hey, have you seen that girl? I've seen that girl. I've seen that girl. What about her? What about him? When I say women, opposite sex. Women talk about men, men talk about... That's what happens all the time. So we have to be careful. Even in material circles, it happens. One of my friend was telling that, in his office, everyone is talking about his wife and her wife and this and that. I said, Baba, you need to change your company, right? Because if we are always hearing those thoughts, what will come? Naturally, those thoughts will come. So we have to be very careful, especially in Kali Yuga. Already there is so much distraction. the billboard, the sound, right? The people, if you go outside, the kind of clothes they are wearing, like Nalakvir and Manigriva happening everywhere, right? One of the lessons from Nalakvir and Manigriva is to cover our bodies properly. These bodies are not meant to be exposed, right? They're sacred. Temple body is the temple for the soul. But these days, what to speak of America or Western countries, even in India, right? So these thoughts lead to everything has an impact. The clothes, the food, the thoughts, the company, the kind of sounds, everything is connected. Do you agree? So we should try our best and do our best and pray to Kṛṣṇa. Any other thoughts, comments before we pause? Anyone wants to add, share, or correct? If I said anything wrong, please forgive me. Ekant Prabhu, any comments? Shilpa Mataji, Shilpa Mataji. Okay. Anyone else wants to share anything before we wrap up? Okay, I hope you can all hear me at least. It's okay if there are no comments. I know it's still unusual topic, but we should be well aware because someone or the other will ask us these questions for sure. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Kartik Damodar Mas ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Panchakal Patirupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.